Okay, good morning. Quick thing here. My internet has been fairly spotty past couple weeks. So if I lose connection at all and you can't hear me, just let me know. I'll just switch to the audio that's on my iPad and we'll go from there. But welcome to the Thursday Morning Fundamentals with Keir Franklin. That is me. I am a first-year tattooer out of Western Massachusetts. We're actually coming up on our 2-year anniversary. But I'm here to pretty much teach you the basic fundamentals of art and the relation to tattooing and kind of get your brains rolling in the morning with the basic fundamentals and the importance of them. If this is your first time here, usually what I do is I'll talk for the first like 45 minutes or so, and then we will have one assignment that we'll do together, and that's when I'll allow people to hop on and you guys can join on and talk with me, ask questions, anything like that. Have a good time on here. And where to find the Zoom, that's important. This is streaming from Reinventing the Tattoo app. You need to have that app to be able to join in on the Zoom. You just have to pretty much just make a login and go to the events page and watch show, and right in there will be the Zoom link when it's ready. And all right, I think we can get started, right? Let me just make sure that everybody can hear me properly. I think I'm connected to the right thing, question mark. Let me just double check. Now that I'm seeing this wire, I'm like, this wire doesn't look connected. Much better. Much better. All right. So pretty much let me just screen share here and we can get started right away. I hope everybody's having a good morning today. Good morning to everybody that's on right now. And all right, there's always so many buttons, I swear to God. Let me get into the Zoom here. All right, we've been really delving into color theory a whole bunch. Or not color theory, sorry, I already gave it away. Perspective for the month of October. I did miss a lot of our classes in the month of October, and I do apologize for that. So we probably will go back to perspective as time goes on. But today, as wanted by everybody, we're going to be delving right into color theory as our basic fundamentals. And it's taken me this long to get to it, only because, like I said in many of my classes, that color theory is like the sometimes why of value. And I kind of wanted to go through all of the other basic fundamentals before we got to color theory, even though that's what everybody has been asking me to do since the beginning of time. So there it is, everybody. There's your color theory. And if you don't know, I always take a sip of my coffee because good morning. Cheers. Okay, so today will be like high school class. We're just going to go over the very foundation fundamentals of color theory, but within that, we'll touch our little baby pinky toes into what temperature is and the relation to nature outside of you. So when you leave this class today and you walk outside, you can pretty much focus on the way that light interacts with these colors. But we won't, well, color temperature will be its own thing, maybe, who knows. So, saturation refers to the intensity of a color. So when somebody says, hey man, that's super saturated, that means those colors are the most saturated or intense in that palette or in that composition that you're doing. That's a very common term, and everybody should know it. Value defines how light or dark a given color or hue can be. Now, I take these definitions from the interwebs, right? But the weird thing about this definition here is that it has color or hue, defines how light or dark a given color or hue can be. And it's the very basic fundamental that color equals hue. So if somebody says, what hue is that? They're asking you what color that is. And in forms of temperature, you can discuss hues in that manner. So when somebody may be talking about hues, just remember that they're just referring to the colors that are. And good morning, Bruno. All right. Like I said, this is going to be very basic, but as we progress with this color theory thing, we'll start getting in more depth. I just don't want to get into like the more abstract topics without you guys understanding the foundations first, because I don't want to start saying these terms and start teaching different things and have you not understand or give you the opportunity to understand what those terms are. So here, obviously, I have on the top screen here, I have a value scale, okay? And if you've been watching my classes consistently, you know that when I keep talking about color theory, I always bring up the fact that it's relation to value. Because if you were to take away the hue or desaturate this bottom scale here, of course, wrong layer, come on here. You'll see that it just turns into a value scale. And that's not just because I just desaturated it. I just took all the color out of it, all the hues. Okay, so that could be its relation to saturation. And even if you look on this bottom screen here, you see I have the options of hue, saturation, and brightness. Okay, so my saturation is obviously my intensity of these colors. I don't know how intense they are now. And the brightness is your contrast, right? And then your hue changes all of them, changes the color. So these are very common fundamentals and terms throughout the art industry. And the more you recognize yourself with these parameters, the better you're going to be able to understand more advanced topics like, influencing color temperature into your work. So if you are nervous about whatever colors you're using, or you want to double check to see if those colors are correct, all you got to do is, if you're in Procreate, all you got to do is go into your little magic wand, hit hue, saturation, and brightness, and then just lessen the saturation. And that way it just brings it down to a value scale. So right now, all you're doing is just checking your values. And that's an even more basic fundamental than the color theory. And that makes it a lot easier for you. And if you're doing like, I don't know, colored pencils or something, or even acrylics, we have the very advanced power now to take our phones, take a picture of our composition in really nice lighting and a very open daylight lighting, and make it black and gray, just desaturate that picture. And once again, you're just checking your values. It may not be as accurate because of the lighting situation, but you will still get the general idea of how your painting is going as far as establishing your values with this method, which is why I say, once again, that the color is the sometimes why of art. All right, so everybody knows, or I'm assuming everybody knows what our primaries are. Our primary colors are the colors that cannot be broken down any further. They are the foundational primal colors. That would be blue, red, and yellow. Okay, so no other color in the universe can make these colors other than just those colors by itself, be it like cobalt blue or the color of the dang sky. Secondaries are whatever those primaries make together. Okay, be it green, orange, and purple. Okay, and I'm running through this little part because every single person since like dawn of time should know what this is. And the point of this will be further on. So lastly here, we have our tertiaries. Now the tertiaries are pretty much like yellow, orange, yellow, green. I don't like that sky blue over there because that's supposed to represent teal. You know, blue, green. Then on the bottom here, I got my pencil, so it's a little more directive for everybody. I can get my pencil up. Make sure I'm on the right layer. So like I said, we have yellow, orange, yellow, green. This is supposed to represent teal, but it's not. Blue, green, blue, purple, purple, red, and red, orange. So it's basically taking your primary and secondary and pretty much saying like, this isn't completely orange. This isn't completely yellow. This is like the halfway point between both. And the silly thing about it is that this whole system here is what nature is truly made out of. Because nothing is truly ever like, you know, just red, blue, or yellow, unless you're talking about very specific objects. With that being said, the reason for that is because of the way that light hits objects. Because as soon as a light hits an object, it's just going to change the hue or saturation of it as well. Okay. But let's pause on that for a second because that's more temperature. And like I said, we're only dipping our pinky toes into temperature. So pause for that. So this is the whole wheel if we brought all of those fundamentals together. Okay. And I say hue wheel to get you understanding that hue wheel and color wheel are the same thing. It's what it is. Okay. And they didn't just throw these colors on here and be like, this makes sense. Okay. They're organized in a way to make everybody understand color theory from its foundational point. Be it said, we all should know, once again, what our complementary colors are. Colors that complement each other no matter the situation. Take a sip of my coffee, hold on. So we have here yellow and purple, okay, red and green, orange and blue. And I actually had found the answer to this question from reading one of my color theory books. And I was wondering why those colors were complementary to each other, because it's not just some dude sitting at a table with a bunch of other people saying like, okay, these colors make sense just because. There has to be a reason for it. And the reason being that, let's say that you were in a room let's even bring the scenario outside. You're sitting at a stoplight. Okay, the red light. And you're looking at that red light and you're staring at it. And you're not looking at anything else but that red light. And then you close your eyes real quick. I'm not saying to do this. Don't do this. This is a hypothetical. You close your eyes and now you're seeing a green light. Because that is the way that your retina is displaying that memory of that color into your head, because it's that complementary. And you can do this once again with that like dress that was a trend a long time ago, that like blue and black dress, but really it's yellow and white. Those are the complementaries, right? Even though like orange is really the complementary of blue, but hearsay, right? So this is just one of those situations where this comes down to a scientific factor of how colors work. This isn't just because it is. There's reasons behind it. And those reasons matter, and they need to be respected in your artwork, no matter what. So the way that this is displayed is to show all factors of the color wheel and all of the terms in the color wheel in one circular motion. Okay. And we will get to more complementary colors later as well. All of these things could be their own segment as far as like color mixing or anything like that. But right now, you just need to understand and memorize what your primaries, secondaries, tertiaries, and complementary colors are, so you can understand your color wheel. Because if you don't understand your color wheel, then how do you expect yourself to do any sort of color work ever? Okay. With that, we're going to learn another term, local color. Okay, I have it underlined in green. So it says in the actual quote before any modification, in painting, local color is the natural color of an object, unmodified by adding unrealistic light and shadow or any other distortion. The color that the eye observes is altered by lighting conditions such as the time of day or the surrounding environment. Now, remember when I was talking about tertiary colors, right, and how they reflect to the nature surrounding us. Local color was not taught to me until probably like a year ago. Understanding how light mimics the world around you, okay? Local color would be, for example, you know, I'm not even gonna get to that point. Let's break this down first. I'm getting very ahead of myself. So I did modify this. Let's back it up a little bit. I did modify this whole segment here. And I crossed out painting and I put life. In life, local color is the natural color of an object. Let's stop there. Natural color of an object. Okay, so that's if you're just, okay, let's say you're holding this cup. If everybody can see me. Let me just take off my Zoom thing for a second. Let's look at this cup, okay? You see this like orange tinge that's on it? That's the light hitting it from my desk. But what color is this cup? I'd say it's blue. It's a blue cup. That is the local color. That's the local color of your object. Is whatever color its baseline is without any light light interpretation on it. Now, if you had asked me in a tertiary sense, I'd say it's like a yellow blue. Because it's got some yellow blue over here. And it's got some more right here. Okay. And as soon as you start getting into like this mid-tone area is where you see its natural color of the cup. But there's many colors within one composition, naturally, not saying artistically, because if you look at like American traditional and stuff, they have, you know, they work in their thirds, 1/3 color, 1/3 negative space, and 1/3, you know, black. So it works. We're talking about just life right now. If you were to go outside and look at your porch, right, that porch is white, but now that yellow is casting on top of it. So now that porch is now yellow white. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I have an example up here, and this is our tiptoe into temperature, okay? Temperature will be its own animal. That's going to be way later on. Maybe not. I always say later on, and I'll make it like the next episode. So I made this apple here. Don't look at the apple. I just quickly did it, okay? It looks like an apple. This apple's local color is red. And it has no other color in it besides that one red. It just has different values of that one red. Okay. And let's actually take away this term here, even though you guys already saw it, so that we can just remain focused on this apple. All right. So this apple, if I color select anywhere in this apple, do you see how little that hue is changing? I hope so. And we're focusing on this outer hue ring here. And I may be losing my internet, so I'm going to give it a second. Sorry, my internet's freaking out once again. Making sure that it goes one step at a time. Very slow. Okay, we're back. I know it was difficult to see, so let's try that again. I apologize for my internet being wacky. I don't know why it's like this lately. So we have, once again, we're looking at this hue wheel, which is the same that we were just going through. Okay, so focus on the outer edge right here and this inner edge. So this middle part here is the value and saturation, where the outer edge is the hue. Okay, I'm going to color pick onto here, and we are going to see how this is going to go. Okay. And I'm jumping around. I'm not just staying in one spot. Don't focus on what I'm color picking. Focus on that hue wheel. What are you seeing? Are you noticing that that hue is not changing? Maybe it's changing a little bit. It's fluctuating a very tiny amount, but the value is all over the place, right? And this is the more common way that I've seen art be done. As far as when you're not understanding color theory, you'll just pick one hue and then just change the values from there, which, you know, it's not bad, it's not incorrect, but it's not going to give it that more realistic fashion to it, or that lifelike pizzazz that I want to call it. So what if we added a light to this? What if we all of a sudden took this apple, brought it outside on our sunny porch and put it there? That light that's going to be hitting it is going to change the color of this apple in a second. It's going to bring those tertiary colors out. Okay? And it may look something like this. All right? All I did was add yellow and green. I added yellow as the light that is hitting this apple, and I added green as the complementary for the shadows. Because what does yellow and yellow and green, sorry, yellow and red make orange, yes. But the green could come from whatever grass or surrounding that it may have. Since green is the complementary of red, it still works. And you throw it in the shadows, and now it's going to give it its more roundness to it. Does this kind of make sense? I hope so. So let's take this here. This would be like if this was hitting, you know, in, once again, open layers. Come on here. Hitting in this direction here. Right? It's hitting this spot, and then it's going to bring it around. And it's going to hit down here. And then as soon as it hits that terminator line, this green is coming into those shadows here. So this is how your brain needs to start understanding the way that colors interact with your environment. And the reason why I go about this way of teaching only is because it's what makes sense commonly. If I can tell you that this makes sense into real life, then you're going to go outside and be like, oh, I see it now. And then you'll be able to translate it into your art much easier because you know in your head that this makes sense. So I'm going to naturally use it in my artwork because if it makes sense out here, it's going to make sense down here as well. And that's all really artistically it is. Going back to this apple here, we're going to go focusing on what it is called when you use one hue but different values in your composition. And you saw it already, monochromatic, okay? One color, the whole composition. And you can do that. This is an apple still. But if you wanted to go more adventurous into your compositions, you can add this light in here. And that's what temperature is. It's the warm and cool effects of your light versus your surrounding. Okay? Keeping it warm versus cool. But we're not going to go into that. We're keeping it with the color wheel. And to be able to understand this color wheel is to be able to choose the right colors to implement into whatever study that you're doing. Be it this yellow and green. Okay. Now we're going to look at a master painter. This is a horrible JPEG, but you get the idea. This is a Rembrandt painting that he had done, and it implements exactly what I'm talking about here. Even though it's very pixelated, honestly, that's good. Because all you're seeing here, make sure I'm on the right layer. All you're seeing here is this outer edge of light. You see it? Because of the sun that's coming through the trees. And this is a landscape painting. Do you think that he took this from a Google image and then copied this Google image? No, man, he was standing outside and he was like, this is beautiful. Let me paint it. Okay, you see that sunlight? See how it's touching those little patches on the edges there? Okay, that is the tertiary way. Okay, so he has some monochromatics here. Whoops, that's a little far. Where all he's taking is greens and just adding different values. But as soon as he adds like some sort of sunlight is when he brings in those tertiaries. This is like an orangey green burntness. Once again, this is like an orangey with a little bit of green in there. But the local color of this ground is grass. Or sorry, ground is grass. Jesus Christ. Ground, grass is green. It's been early morning. This grass is green. So with that being said, he's implementing the entire color wheel into one composition. He's not limiting himself at all. He's even taking this blue that's down here and implementing it in a different value to the sky that's up here. If he had taken the same blue and threw it up at the sky, it would not work out so well. And once again, if we take this and bring it down, once again, it's just a value study. So now you should be able to understand how they correlate with each other. And I think I have to switch on and off again. Oh man, it kicked me out. Oh no, it didn't. I apologize, guys, for real, for my internet. I don't know what the dealio is. But that was kind of like the endish of that. We're just getting used to what the color wheel is. And pretty much now is what I'm going to allow people to start hopping on. I don't know how well my internet's going to hold up. So we may have to cut this a little short. But I hope we can get a little bit done, right? Our assignment today, we're just going to go back to fruit studies. I want everybody to pick a fruit because I want you to adventure with the color wheel. Just focus on your secondaries, primaries, tertiaries, doing color studies in that fashion. Maybe getting warmed up to the idea of what light is hitting that object and the way that it morphs the colors, okay? But at the end of the day, no matter what, you're doing a value study. That's what this is. It's a value study. You're just using more saturation and hues. Okay. I don't have a ton of you watching today, so I don't know if anybody will be hopping on, but I'm gonna put it down there anyway, and we will see from there. All right, guys. So give me 1 second just to like put this up, and we'll get that situated. And hopefully you were able to hear me throughout this. Please let me know, everybody out there that's watching, that you heard me, because oof. I'll have to call my Comcast guy. All right, so I've got this all loaded up here. Once again, you do have to have the Reinventing the Tattoo forum. And just copying the Zoom link here, and you go into the events page after you go into the Reinventing the Tattoo website and or app. And right in the comments section, I'm posting the sorry, two things at once. The link right now as we speak. That should be all set when you do me. All right, it's up for sure, so feel free. Let me just pull up a reference picture of, I think I'm gonna do a mango. I like mangoes. It's not the season for mangoes, but yeah, it's a good composition to do because they got multiple colors in it. Let's see, mango. Let's look for a nice reference picture of a mango. Yeah, we'll do this one. This one's nice. All right, I'm gonna screen share again. Hopefully it'll stay consistent for a little bit. Not be so wacky. Okay. All right, I got that up. This up. Let's see if this is gonna work here, huh? Mango. Okay. That seems to work, right? Let me take a quick sip of my coffee here. Did not make the best coffee this morning. Ugh. Okay. Let's see. So let me just sketch this little oval shape, oval circle. All right. I'm not going to be focusing on the shape of this mango. It's literally, this is just going to be the color study. Jeez. What was that? Let's just make this a little one here. Let's come in with that. It's a little nubby. Tell me that's like the center of whatever. Come around. I'll mark my value shapes just to make it a little bit easier for myself. All right. So let's make a new layer. I think I'm going to start with that red color. And I'm not going to be doing this in exact sense, right? This is just, once again, going to be the use of color and the way it mimics to things. And I marked off where that red is going to stop. And pretty much all I'm doing is just throwing a red in here lightly. And I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pick like that yellowy green. So yellowy green, make it a little more yellow, less saturated. Like a warmer yellow green. We'll go like here. And go in here. And I'll do the whole thing because that is the local color. That's what we're focusing on right now. Establishing the local color, which is red and yellow, green. This is what happens when nobody joins me. I'm stuck singing. All right, so I see what color that's changing there. It's like an orange, orangey, reddish tone. So I'm gonna go in here to my darker. Actually, I'm gonna darken it, the value just a little bit. And I'm gonna go, that didn't make quite a difference. No, that works. Go in here. Fix that like that. And then I see this like green that's on this like outer edge right here. So we're gonna go to that. Not too green. On the darker side. That. Once again, we're just focusing on the basic underlays. Now I see this like peach tone that's right here. And the more you start dissecting your colors, the more you'll see like more in patches. That's not the right color. And I can put that in here too, because I kind of see orange in there. And then I'm gonna go like straight to like a darker green. And the only thing that I'm not too like crazy good on is establishing like different layers of things. That should be a little bigger, a little less. And this way, you're really understanding the way that these colors are mimicking each other. And right now, it looks like a bloody mess, right? It doesn't even look like a mango. It just looks like a bunch of colors thrown together. But that's how every composition starts, right? This is just your underlayer of things. And then we can start going in once again and putting those top layers of things and starting to give it form, right? So we're gonna start with our reds again. I see that like really pure crimson red, fire engine red. So we're gonna go right to that. Fill in the space. And I'll get this to the point where I'll check my values after, so we can see how close I became. I did that because I'm kind of noticing that when I put these two together, it's starting to make that peachy tone that I want. And right now I'm kind of like shaping the mango. And what I'm actually going to do is get rid of, no, I'll keep that. Okay, so I see that red, and I see the red's kind of like going up here. And then I'll take that like gross vomity green, and I'll darken the value a whole bunch. And you should be, I do this all the time when like nobody really joins and I just talk to myself the whole time. You should be doing this when you make your compositions as well. Just having these conversations. Sometimes talking out loud is better, in my opinion. And I'm sure you're noticing that I'm ignoring all those speckles and like super harsh white highlights here because I'm just focusing on the underlay. Now that I put that gross barfy green down, I'm kind of noticing those yellows, those like baby barf colors. It seems too bright. Let's tone it down just a little bit. Just making values. That's what we're doing here. And I can even color select that barfy color. Bring it to the edge up here. And bring the value down a little bit. But I hope you're noticing that when I throw, I'm not changing my hue when I went from that red to that green, but when I throw that down, it still is color mixing on top of it. I don't have to always change the hue, especially when you start to actually like bring stuff together. I can just pretty much go in with the same motions that I was. Give it that speckly effect, you know? We're going to more pure yellow. I always want to go up with the yellow. I don't know what my problem is. And it still kind of looks like a hot mess, but we'll get there. It's a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with values and colors. And let's get that peachy tone out of here. That's a little bright on the value scale, but we'll make it work. Start to take away. I'll take away the outline in a second because it's kind of intruding actually. And what could be the most like confusing part is, let me get to the layer, hold on. Is this section, let me get it smaller. It's this section that's right here. Because if you zoom in, that has like the most amount of just speckle color all over it. Like there's just, but if you're looking at the overall transition, what is it? It's going from this red to this peachy color. So red, peachy color. So we'll say orange, right? Then it goes to like a yellow, then to like a lime green, then to a more harsher green to like a blue green. Okay. It's still going around that wheel, right? So it started at red. Now you're looking at the wheel. Okay, everybody look at the wheel. You're going to red to orange to yellow green to, what was that? Like a mintier green, like down here. It's still making that curve. Look, it's still mango. This outer edge. It's a mango. Look at it. So am I doing that? Let's see. So we're starting with this red to this orange to this yellow. Oh, I can make it more yellow. To this lime green, but that's more greenish. To this up here. See, I'm slowly making my way around. Okay, but it just takes some time to do so. But now, since I just value checked that, I know, or sorry, hue checked that, I can make my way around the wheel a lot easier. So let's do that. So I'm right in this area for here, right? Which is good, actually. Let's make that a little bigger. Let's go a little more. But I do want to keep an eye on my saturation level and my value. It's like yellow to green. To like this more huntery green, which is like here, but we'll go down a little bit. So like this minty color. And this happens in the real world too. These colors are making bridges with each other. Because you need to make a common transition between that red and this green that's up here. Now, let me get rid of this, like, let's make it a nicer edge, shall we? Now I can start to implement like darker darks. So I see like my darkest are like this vomity color here, this like burnt brown green. And this color on the edge. Now I can start putting in like smaller detailed bumps and bruises and actually start to give it shape and life and color. I'm going to take this vomity green actually and bring it up here. I hope you're starting to see it kind of start to become mango-y. Sometimes I do that. I'll like twist my stuff around just to like, I don't know, shake my eyes or something. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this outline now. And if it'll let me, get rid of it. I don't need it anymore. Make our mango a little. So now I kind of got like a color splotched down, right? It's not really giving me the mango effect here, but it's definitely got the proper color theory in it. Now what I can do is maybe start to detail a little bit, little by little. But let's check again. Red to orange. Come on. To yellow, to that. Okay. Shut this up. Sorry, scratching my eye. Okay. So that kind of works, right? That's going to give it its shape. I'm gonna go back to this yellowy puke color. I'm actually gonna color select it, just make this process go a little faster. And I hope you're noticing now I'm using like very, very saturated tones, but besides that red, I was using more like muted tones, meaning like more grayed out or canceled out. And you guys will learn that next week. Next week will be chroma. So that's usually what I do for all my paintings. I'll start with like super muddy, gross underpaintings, and then I'll go in with the nice pretty colors and put that up top so that it limits me from using too many of those pretty colors. And we're gonna go back into that red. And I hope you're kind of seeing it start to take shape here. Starting to do mango things. Let's take this. No. Let's go up here, take this here. Being indecisive on what one I want. And for this, I'm using a much smaller brush, and all I'm doing is kind of just like blending in the edges here. Kind of start to bring everything together. I'm kind of just like, as Ricardo says it, just scumbling in all this stuff here. Kind of making it all come in, and then I want to take this brown that's here. And the way that we can look at this is just, like I said, like a bridge of colors coming together, right? So we talked about how we were going, let's make this a little brighter for a second. We were going this direction with the transition, right? But what about when we went this direction? Okay. Well, now we're going to this like red, more like a burnty red, but this is, you know, for me, it's going to be burnty, but we're traveling up this red. And to get from that red quickly to that green, you have to make a transition to, open the Hue Wheel. You have to make that transition from red to green much quicker. So how are you going to go across that board? You can't go around like the other side, or what is shown in the mango. It's not going around. It's going straight across. And in order to do that, how do we have to travel? We have to travel to the level of desaturation. Or the best way to do that is to start mixing the two together, the two complementaries. And anytime you mix a primary with its complementary, you're going to get brown. Be it, for example, let's say for people that live with seasons, and you walk outside with a wintry day. Let me just off screen here, paint a little scene. So you have like snow and stuff, like there's some snow on the ground, but it's nighttime, right? And you have one little lamppost that's like shining down. This is a horrible drawing, but I hope you get the example. So there's one light post on the street that you live on, and the sky is like super, super dark, right? What happens out in actual nature is when you mix and you see the way that this orange light reacts to its environment is it doesn't leave that orange hue. It then mixes with the sky as well, which makes a complementary burnt brown or burnt sienna. So the color you're actually going to get is more like this around your scenery. because that's the only thing that would make sense realistically. You wouldn't find like a red in here because that just wouldn't make sense realistically. When you mix your primary and your complementary, you're going to get a brown color. Be it this brown that's right here, this like burnt umber color. Okay. Think about the ways that leaves die, once again, having seasons. They turn from like that red, that from green to like the, I don't know, like burnty red. But in between that green to red, they turn like a brown color to red to orange and to yellow to brown again and die, depending on the tree. And that's because out in nature, it has to make that travel from green to red much quicker. Rather than going around here, it jumps right across. Okay. And I know that's a lot of information all at once, and we're going to break that down over time. But just to give it a more in-depth description, that's how that works. Realistically, out in nature, in life. And once again, that's why I teach the way I do. Let me back up this horrible painting. All right, back to our mango. Let's get this mango finalized, huh? So what my eyes are seeing the most out of this, let me make sure I'm on the right layer, is this color here. All right. This color here, this color here. So I want to implement that a little bit more in this. And you may see colors that are much different, you know? You may see much different colors. But hopefully by the end of me teaching color theory, you can be able to use whatever color you like. If you're going to make this mango purple, you can. You just have to use it in the right way and use your conversation of colors much different. And I'm kind of just fluffing it in here. Color selecting this like nudie green, gross color. And it's starting to look like a mango, I think. So pretty much just finalizing our edges here of our red versus green, which is what I'm going to show in a second. I'm kind of just adding little speckles because that's how it's showing. Give it a little texture. I'm kind of hyper focusing on certain areas of it. But I'd say that this is almost done as a study. I want this green though. It's not green enough for me. I should make this brush just a tad bigger. Okay. So now we're kind of getting to that stage of saturation here. And what I'm going to do is put in start putting in this like super harsh highlight that's here. I'll even kiss it to that side. No, I won't. That might be a little too much. I go back to that peachy color though. Then we'll go back to this, make it a little bit brighter. I don't want like absolute white on this. That'll be too much, definitely, for my eyeballs. Flip it upside down, gives a different perspective on it. Look over here, kiss it to the bottom here. I give it direction, even though I didn't really make a place for the nubby little knob on the bottom. But maybe I can add that in. More focused here on the technical side of the color wheel here. Put that back around. Now I'm losing a lot of red, so let's take some red in here. Tone this down. So I'm kind of going up with my highlight. That's not totally correct. So let's calm that down. Once again, having conversations like this with your artwork is not a bad thing. And at this point, like I said, I'm just color picking just to make this process go by a little bit faster. There we go. That's much better. There we go. All right, and then transition here. And then I'm going to take the super harsh yellowy orange. But I think my whole point with today's lesson is to just make sure that you're understanding how the color wheel works for you. Oh, losing that shape. Don't lose that shape here. Come on. And getting used to the conversations that the color wheel is having with one another, which does exist. All right, it's starting to get there. It doesn't have the little specklies that I'm going to merge down these layers. It doesn't have the little specklies that, you know, mangoes have, but we're really getting somewhere with this. And it's definitely showing the transition that needs to happen between the red and green, right? Like if I had to, once again, color pick this and show my relationships between the colors, right? We'll start with this red. Right? It kind of made it jump back once, but it really did go across the board here. Let's try from the bottom. I'm going to ask you this question. If you had to choose what the local color of this mango is, what would you say it was? Would it be red? Would it be yellow, orange, green? Technically, would be all of these because the light that is being used for this reference photo is not of like colored source. It's a tungsten light ball, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't know that. But it doesn't have like a huge color to it other than just white. Like it would on the daylight, or if you're using like a more blue light, which I think is what tungsten is. So let me give like a couple more minutes on this just to like really set in some tones because there's like a couple spots I'm not like too thrilled with. That's this section here. Losing out on this red. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It makes it a little knobby. It's bothering me. That's not there. There we go. That's a little better. You could go ahead and like add the direction and stuff like that, like these little marks here. I was gonna say I'm not going to, but you know, fuck it, whatever. Gives it that oh, that's very sloppily done. Come on, Kier. You're better than this. What's the rush? What's the holdup? What's the there we go. That's a little better. Right. Little nub. And now, you know, you can start focusing on those like final detailed marks and how those interact. And let's add some more aggressive colors in here. That was a horrible nub, but hey, you get the idea. All right, so now I'm just gonna add some speckly textures, which I like doing on Procreate here. And for this speckly stuff, just to give it some realistic tones. And then we'll call it. Brighter ones. Oh, geez, that's a little much. Make sure when you add those bright tones or these speckles, you don't lose your underlying composition here, which I kind of am. Maybe adding that wasn't such a hot idea, you know? And then we got like a mango, kind of, sort of, right? Honestly, I could play with this thing all day long, truthfully, but that, can't be the case here. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah, so what happens when you start to play with it for too long, you start to like make more mistakes. So we should just leave it as is. All right, mango. All right, mango. There it is. So we did our little color study of our mango. Obviously, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it helps explain the way that colors have a relationship with each other. And that's what matters in this, truthfully. That's the whole point of this, is to understand your color wheel and how they conversate with each other with actual objects in real life, be it fruit or, any other landscape style or any objects you see out in the world. They interact with colors in the same way as it is in the fundamentals of art. So with that being said, I'd love if everybody posted their little fruits. So I can put up here and then we can go over it and all that fun stuff. But with that being said, let me go back to my zoomy zoom. It was great hanging out. I love doing that little color study. We're definitely going to be going more and more in depth with color because I could go on forever with it. So that being said, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to let me know on the Reinventing the Tattoo app at Frankie Tattoos Things or on Instagram at Frankie Says Things. I'd love to hear all your comments, questions, and concerns with anything that I say. And that being said, it was really great hanging out with you guys, and I really appreciate it. And thank you so much to Reinventing. Thank you so much to the Horseman. Thank you so much to everybody that's helped me out here with this. I'm very excited to continue to learn and study and teach color theory for you guys. I think it's going to be a great couple weeks, and maybe we'll start to extend this into the next couple months because you could really go far with color theory. And I've learned so much about fundamentals through just that. That being said, thank you guys so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.